Chapter 2079, Never Again. After thinking for a moment, Zhou Qian suddenly realized that something had happened in her hometown. Something must have happened in Tianhai City. Nowadays, Tianhai City was like a sanctuary for the human world. Who would dare to provoke them? That was why Zhang Yi had brought all his best men with him when he went out, and even carried the Tianhai fortress with him. He never thought that anyone would dare to attack his territory. Zhang Yi's face was dark and terrifying. How bad are the losses in Tianhai City? How many people died? Is the Volt Shadow Troop okay? Bai Li Changqing reported truthfully, fortunately, under your leadership, we built a huge underground facility. When the tsunami came, we did our best to rescue as many people as possible into the underground fortress. But there are still about 5,000 people missing. Now that the tsunami has receded, only a small number of bodies have been found. Most of them must have been carried away by the waves. Zhang Yi gritted his teeth and said word by word, Wulwan Empire. He asked, when did the tsunami strike? Bai Li Changqing replied, 3 days ago. Zhang Yi understood. 3 days ago, he had killed Pokong and enslaved 6 silver armor generals. At this moment, those 6 were still under Yang Xinxin's control, and Zhang Yi planned to execute them after returning. It must have been Pokong's death that triggered some kind of mechanism, causing the Wulwan Empire to discover them and leading to this retaliatory action. Now, the two sides were mortal enemies. After all, the loss of a Black Bishop-level mutant and 6 silver armor generals was too much for the Wulwan Empire to bear. Zhang Yi rubbed his forehead hard to calm himself down. Bai Li, tell me clearly what the situation is in Tianhai City. Oh, no, I mean the reaction of the entire Huashu Kingdom. Also, is there any movement abroad? Are there any foreign mutants near Tianhai City? Especially from Euro and Colombia, and are there any people from the Holy See? Anger cannot solve problems, so Zhang Yi maintained his usual style of first finding out what was going on before deciding on his next move. Bai Li Changqing replied, after the Wulwan Empire triggered the tsunami, they did not come ashore. However, their people are patrolling the ocean. The ships sent by the Xinjiang region and northeast region to rescue them were all destroyed. Zhang Yi thought for a moment and said, they only dare to act outside of the land. They are still too afraid of the dragon clan of Qinling Mountain. That's good. The current crisis won't escalate in the short term. Bai Li Changqing said, all the major regions have sent people to help. However, we only accepted their supplies and did not allow them to participate in the reconstruction of Tianhai City. Zhang Yi nodded. Bai Li Changqing was very reliable. He knew that Zhang Yi was concerned about the privacy of Tianhai City, so he did not allow others to help rebuild the city to avoid leaving any hidden dangers. As for abroad, there is no news. After listening, Zhang Yi nodded and said, very good, I understand. I'll be right back, wait for me. Zhang Yi ended the call and faced the group of curious companions around him, saying in a low voice, the Wulwan Empire has attacked the Huashu Kingdom again. This time, they used a tsunami to engulf dozens of coastal cities, causing countless casualties. He looked at Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise. East Sea City has also been flooded. Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird's expressions changed greatly. With the 2 highest-ranking fighters of East Sea City that were away, how could they defend against the sudden attack of the Wulwan Empire? Damn it! Those lizards of the Wulwan Empire really want to drive us to our doom. It's only been half a year since East Sea City was rebuilt. East Sea City had already been destroyed once under the invasion of the Wulwan Empire. Now, it was happening again. Even if they wanted to bully someone, they couldn't do it like this. Black Tortoise's huge body was at the bottom of the sea, and suddenly, the nuclear reactor inside his body started running at high speed. He began to move forward at full speed, determined to return to East Sea City as soon as possible. Black Tortoise, wait. We can't go back like this. Head to the southern sea and surface first. Then I'll take you back. Zhang Yi dissuaded the anxious Black Tortoise. Chaos, why are you doing this? If I'm too late, the East Sea region might be destroyed. Black Tortoise was extremely impatient. After taking a few deep breaths, Zhang Yi calmed down considerably. The Wulwan Empire is retaliating for us killing Pokong and the others. They are patrolling the ocean, waiting to deal with us. We don't know their situation, so we can't take any risks. That's why we shouldn't take the sea route. I'll take you back the long way around, which will be faster than you swimming back. But what about this grudge? I might as well charge at them and fight to the death. I want to see whose firepower is stronger. Black Tortoise looked murderous. Zhang Yi was speechless. He put one hand on his hip and the other on Black Tortoise's shoulder. How are we going to fight? Don't you see what state you're in? You don't even have a single bishop level. How are you going to fight them? Use your brain. As soon as he said this, Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird's expressions changed, but they couldn't refute him. They had courage but no strength, so going there would only mean certain death. So the two looked at Zhang Yi. Chaos, we can only ask you to help us avenge this humiliation. They had all seen Zhang Yi's strength with their own eyes. Let's go back and talk about it first. Zhang Yi's tone was still calm, but the flames in his eyes were burning fiercely. I will make them pay back everything they owe me 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Wulwan Empire, I will make them pay with their own blood. They killed 5,000 people in the East Sea region and flooded dozens of cities along the coast. I will use the entire Wulwan Empire and the lives of all its creatures to pay them back. Those who knew Zhang Yi well knew that he was really angry now. Show Care and Uncle, you were most familiar with this feeling. Zhang Yi always kept his word. If he said he would destroy someone, he would really destroy them. If anyone doubted his words, they would definitely regret it in the end. This was the same man who, at the beginning of the apocalypse, single-handedly slaughtered thousands of people in an entire neighborhood. Wulwan Empire, you've messed with the wrong person. Show Care shook her head. She could already see a terrifying bloodbath, a war that would lead to the destruction of an entire country and the extinction of an entire race, coming soon. Black Tortoise followed Zhang Yi's orders and swam towards the surface. When they reached the surface, Zhang Yi gathered everyone into his shadow and deliberately bypassed the waters surrounding the Huashu Kingdom, making a large circle back. They happened to pass through the Middle East, which was Saladin's territory. Chapter 2080, I'm back. Zhang Yi sent Saladin back to his territory. Before parting, he said to him, I will never forget that you stood by my side from the beginning, and I, Chaos, will never forget this. If the Eastern Orthodox Church dares to target you, I will help you. Saladin smiled and shook his head. Your Excellency Chaos, I admire your bravery and combat skills. But don't forget that I, Saladin, am not someone to be trifled with. In this land, if the Eastern Orthodox Church or the Nordics want to touch me, they will surely see their own blood flowing on the ground. It was only then that Zhang Yi remembered that the Heavenly Sect also had a large number of followers. In this area, Saladin really had nothing to fear from anyone. Alright, I'll go back and take care of some things at home. We'll meet again in the future. After Zhang Yi finished speaking, he rushed to Tianhai City without stopping. Along the way, he also began to send messages to the people in charge of the major districts, asking them about the current situation. It turned out that when Li Changqing contacted them, he told them that Zhang Yi was doing something very important, so they asked them not to disturb Zhang Yi. Now that Zhang Yi was back, they responded immediately. The East Sea region and Jiangnan region were the ones affected by this incident. The other regions didn't know much about it. At first, they were a little worried that the Wulwan Empire would start another war, but later they found that the unrest was only in the coastal areas, so they felt much better. In the southwest region, Zhugo and Luozhua asked Zhang Yi if they needed any supplies. Zhang Yi didn't want any. After all, Tianhai City had never been short of supplies. The southwest region was so poor, so it was better to keep what they had. As for the Xinjiang region, he contacted Meng Yuanjun and Shang Daowen to see what their attitude was. The two were also very concerned about the Wulwan Empire and believed that war between the two sides was inevitable. What's more, the blockade of the East Sea prevented the Huashu Kingdom from going to sea, which had a huge impact. As for the Jiangnan region, Zhu Zheng's statement was more official. He said that Blizzard City would do everything in its power to help Zhang Yi, and that there would be no limits to the friendly cooperation between the two sides. Most of it was empty talk, and Zhang Yi didn't really need the help that the major regions could offer at the moment. I must go back first and figure out the strength of the Wulwan Empire before deciding on my next move. Zhang Yi briefly greeted the major regions and then returned to Tianhai City. By now, the tide had receded. But in the distance, he saw a huge stretch of mudflats. Tianhai City was completely white. After the sea receded, the cold temperature turned the entire land into ice, exposing the black soil underneath, which looked dead and silent. Many of Tianhai City's iconic buildings were completely vanished. This was no longer a world-class metropolis, but clearly a piece of frozen mud. Seeing this scene, his companions all had expressions of dismay on their faces. Our home has been destroyed once again. Aunt Zhou Jaime covered her chest and said this, making everyone feel a little sad. Uncle Yu hurriedly comforted her, "It's okay, we can rebuild our home. We won't be defeated." Fatty Su also said, "Yeah, as long as we're still here, everything will be fine." He rolled up his sleeves and said, "Don't worry, with our abilities, we can build a nice city in no time." Zhang Yi took several deep breaths to keep himself from losing his mind. "Don't be impulsive." He comforted himself and then followed the intelligent system's location to the original position of Tianhai Fortress. Fortunately, when he arrived, he saw traces of human activity. It was the Volt Shadow Troop patrolling the area. Zhang Yi didn't rush to land. He quickly went to the seaside and faced the vast ocean, scanning in all directions. There was no sign of the enemy in the coastal area. After all, the Wulwan Empire's race was not yet able to appear in the outside world for long periods of time. He then returned and placed Tianhai Fortress back on the ground. The moment the huge spherical fortress appeared, the members of the Volt Shadow Troop patrolling the area saw it and their eyes immediately lit up with excitement. "The Supreme is back! The Supreme is back!" Their cries for Zhang Yi were sincere and came from the bottom of their hearts. It was their reverence for their protector. Everyone immediately surrounded him, and Zhang Yi led them all out of the sky and slowly descended. "I'm back, everything is fine." Zhang Yi's tone was calm, but the more he acted like this, the more reassuring he made everyone feel. In the eyes of the Volt Shadow Troop, this was how Zhang Yi should be, omnipotent and fearless in the face of danger. Bai Li Changqing quickly rushed over, and there were many familiar faces among the crowd. Seeing that his old acquaintances were still there, Zhang Yi felt much more at ease. The loss of none of his most elite warriors was a blessing in disguise. They looked at Zhang Yi with tears in their eyes, excited and a little aggrieved. No one could remain calm when the home they had worked so hard to build was destroyed. Bai Li Changqing came to Zhang Yi and said with a look of shame, "I'm sorry, Supreme. I failed to protect Tianhai City." Zhang Yi patted him on the shoulder and said, "You did very well, don't blame yourself. I'll take care of the rest." When he left, he was afraid of Mammon's power, so he took all of his top fighters with him, not leaving a single epsilon behind. Bai Li Changqing was now only at the peak of Delta, so he must have done his best to achieve this. "Come on, let's go inside and tell me what happened these past few days." Zhang Yi waved them over and let them enter the Tianhai Fortress. Everyone immediately followed suit and entered the picturesque and warm Tianhai Fortress, the gloom in their hearts dissipating considerably. Bai Li Changqing said to Zhang Yi, "All the staff are currently inside the bunker. Because we don't know when the enemy will attack again, ordinary people are not allowed to leave. The various buildings have not been rebuilt either." Zhang Yi nodded, "You did well." Everyone entered the villa, and Zhang Yi asked Yang Xia to make them some tea. When one is in a bad mood, a hot drink can soothe the soul. Yang Xia's tea was especially effective, as it could relax the body and mind and restore energy. It was an excellent tonic. Zhang Yi asked everyone to sit down and tell him everything that had happened over the past few days. Zhang Yi already understood the general course of events, but he wanted to hear it again from them. Firstly, as the leader of Tianhai City, he wanted to comfort his subordinates, and secondly, he wanted to fill in any gaps in his knowledge. So far, the information about the tsunami was very simple. The Wulwan Empire had not hidden its movements and had launched a full-scale attack on them.